Hey everybody, back again. This is history, part number 3. In my first video, I spoke about the left and the right side of history, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, all of that deal. The left's agenda, the right side of history coming back as a people's movement. Now, this is where history has been manipulated. The right side of history is people gaining sovereignty and independence. That's why the left doesn't want it there. They do not want people having their own power. They do not want anyone having independence. Alright? Now, in my second video, I spoke about Captain Cook landed in Australia in 1770, colonised the country in 1788. I spoke about the Battle of the Eureka Stockade. I spoke about the Aboriginal community being dismantled over the years. Alright? Now, I'm going to get into some big things right now that a lot of people don't know. Now, if you're sitting at home and you've got a paper note on you, pick up that paper note. On that paper note, you'll see Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is controlled by the Rothschilds. Now you're thinking, why am I bringing that up? I'm about to get into that for a significant reason, okay? Now, over the years, there's been wars. We know that. That's why I wrote down World War One, World War Two. Very big times in our history. Also with Pearl Harbor, Vietnam War, these are significant points in history. Also the Battle of the Eureka Stockade was an important time in Australian history, wasn't it? So you're probably thinking, why am I bringing up wars? Why am I bringing up the two big significant wars? Why did I just mention about Federal Reserve? Every war since Napoleon has been funded by the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds run the Federal Reserve Bank. This is why I tell you to sit down before I go talking about anything. I don't think I said it in this video, I'm sorry, but yeah. So, every war since Napoleon has been funded by the Rothschilds. So every war that's happened has gave them political power to jump up the ranks and control every bank around the world. The Reserve Bank. They keep you paying taxes, they essentially want you broke. That's the deal. And you're probably thinking, okay, I'm listening, what else you got? Well, so we know every war's been funded by the Rothschilds just to gain power over the world and over the Reserve Bank. The Reserve Bank, the fiat currency, is a centralized system. Gold and silver is decentralized. See the difference? Gold and silver being a decentralized system. You can't have taxes on it and you can't, do all of that. That's why they did not want the gold and silver standard. They wanted to flush that out, bring in the fiat currency so they can manage it themselves and get rich while we get poor. Yeah? Slavery. Going back to my first video, the left side fought a war to keep us as slaves. Right side of history fought a war so we wouldn't be slaves. See where I'm going with this? Now you're probably thinking, oh shit, this actually happened. It did. This is why I say do your research, draw your own conclusions, because it all comes back. Now, we know Australia's constitution took effect on January 1901. Now, over the years, Australia has been on the left. Alright, you've got the Liberal, you've got the Labor. I'm not sure if we have ever had a government that pushes actual right agendas. right agendas, putting the people first, lowering and demolishing taxes, all of that. Like I said, the left doesn't want that. This is why there's just all this mess going on right now, and things are coming out about all of this, alright? Then you see all the protests going on around Australia. That is not a far-right extremist group. That is a right-side movement gaining independence and sovereignty. Right, now look. I understand people believe in the Commonwealth in Australia. They still want to be under the Commonwealth. I get that, I understand that, and I respect that. Alright? But when you see things going on like this, where everybody's coming together, they're doing all of these protests, they're gaining independence. Then with all the corruption cases coming out and all of that jazz, it's very interesting to see what the Commonwealth's gonna do about all of this, because this is triggering very high scenarios, I'll put it that way. It's essentially people coming together and they're knocking the door on the Commonwealth. Alright? Now, we know the Queen is sick. I'm not going to get into that because there's different information. I know once she passes, there's like 10 days of just blackout before they reveal if she's actually gone. Alright? So, once you start going down these roads and you start putting certain things together through the wars were funded just to create the Federal Reserve, to knock gold and silver out, to get onto the fiat currency, to essentially keep us broke. It's all a left movement, and there's a mosquito. Whoops. So we had these wars to get the fiat currency in, to give the Rothschilds the power, to create the Federal Reserve, to keep us broke. And there's also other things that these wars pushed. It was to give other people power too, which is sad and it's disgusting, but that's how it went. We shouldn't have a war. There's no reason for war. We would be in a peaceful society without wars. So this is how far the left side's really gone. They're willing to fund things just to stay in power. And this will make you start questioning other people. You'll just be like, well, who else is doing this? Yeah? It's very significant that I'll talk about all of this, because it comes into the currency system, it comes into the wars, it comes into the left and right side of history. The left side wanted their agendas. They thought they won. Now the right side of history is coming up in Australia and all around the world. All around the world you see it. People are pushing back. They have had enough of this horse shit. That's what it is. It's just plain old horse shit. They don't want the left side of history anymore. They want independence, and it's happening. And it's happening at such a fast rate. Okay? So everything wraps in together. Spoke about the wars. Come into the Federal Reserve that I've just spoke about. Fiat currency, paper money, what you have in your wallet. Look at your wallet, pull out the note, you'll see Reserve Bank or Federal Reserve Bank. Look up on Google who runs the Reserve Bank. Rothschilds funded every war since Napoleon. Yeah? Got Australia's constitution in there, come into effect in 1901. This is where history's been manipulated over the years. It's just one big mess. Literally one big mess. This is why I'm not diving down into certain little things. because things have been manipulated, and I do not want to say the wrong thing. I'm giving you accurate info. Then I spoke about in my last video Captain Cook. I spoke about the left teaching critical race theory, Aboriginal culture being dismantled. We know in Australia Aboriginal culture has been pushed to the side. I don't know why. It's disgusting. We need to do something to fix that. I spoke about the Battle of the Eureka Stockade. First video comes into my second video, comes into the bigger things in my third video, which is this one. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all of that. First video I spoke about the Rothschild, left side of history. Now I'm talking about the Reserve Bank that connects to the Rothschilds. Look it up, it's there. Alright? So that's all from me today. Thank you. See you soon.